journalists Dr. Melanie Burkholder and Laura Fink. They join us this morning with This Week in Politics. Good morning to both of you ladies. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Sally.
Okay, let's start. President Trump saying this New York Times report that was out that he ordered is the key word, the firing of special counsel Robert Mueller last June is false. If this was true, what would this mean, Laura?
Well, this is just another example of potential obstruction of justice that is exactly what Robert Mueller is tasked with finding. And if only for his lawyers, Mueller might have been fired last June. That's what we found out yesterday. And this is explosive news because it's yet another piece of evidence. We saw he did try to pressure James Comey into stopping the investigation. And this is another piece of evidence that fits in that storyline. So I think it's compelling. I think it's shocking. And I think it speaks to the stakes that we see and the possible constitutional crisis that happened not just a year ago.
And he said that this was fake news, Melanie, but the fact of the matter is Fox News then said, I mean, it's almost going along the lines of how he said it. The New York Times said that he ordered the firing. Fox News says the report was basically that he said, hey, I could fire him.
Yeah.
So it's semantics there, but the intent perhaps was there. What was your take on this?
Well, first of all, I think he has every right to fire him because he's not doing a very good job. And if there was something there, they've been investigating
what
for
is he
an
not doing a
entire
good job
year.
about?
Well, they've been investigating an entire year, something that's not happening. This collusion with Russia and all this kind of stuff. They haven't found anything. So I guess in my experience as a former federal agent, I think that what you're looking at is now there's going to be some heads roll because we've invested all of this taxpayer money into this investigation and all of this time. So who's it going to be? And that's the real question: is what's going to happen next? And maybe
but
there
a
was
thorough
some
investigation takes a year, takes longer even, and we haven't really seen the final report. Is it safe to say
right.
we can make that call once the report is out?
Which call?
With the call of whether or not it was a waste of time over the past year.
Yeah, absolutely.
The investigation is ongoing.
And I heard President Trump say just the other day in Davos that, yes, I'll testify, I'll be under oath. Was Hillary Clinton under oath? No, she wasn't. She was handled with kid gloves. But he's willing to say, yes, I'll do that, based on what my attorneys tell me, based on the advice I get from my attorneys, which I think is a smart way to do it. You know, if you're going to testify, then yeah, you want your attorney's blessing.
Here's what his attorneys told him. His attorneys told him that he should not be firing Robert Mueller, and in fact, they would quit if he did fire Robert Mueller a year ago. And that is because they understand the implication of that firing, that would be obstruction of justice, that would be, given the stakes. And a year is not very long when you think about the unprecedented level of incursion by Russians that has already been cited by multiple intelligence agencies. This is something that isn't just about Trump, it's about the stakes for our entire democracy moving forward.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about immigration as well. Offering this news coming out, 10 to 12-year path to citizenship for nearly 2 million dreamers. They want something in exchange, $25 billion investment in border security. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Trump has said the entire time that he wasn't going to deport these DACA, the dreamers, that so-called dreamers, and that he wanted to find a path to citizenship for them. What I think is very unfortunate in this scenario is that the Congress has not gotten together and actually done their job. This is what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be working in Washington to make this happen. Now the White House is presenting a plan. So it's a great plan. I think it's wonderful that we don't need to deport those folks because no one ever talked about deporting those folks. I mean, there needs to be a path to citizenship. It is not their fault they're here. God bless them. Let's find a way for them and make it happen. In this 10 to 12 year number, who knows if that's going to actually be what's happening. Let's see what the plan is and look at it with a fine-tooth comb and tailor it where it benefits us as citizens and benefits them as illegal immigrants, which is what they are.
Well, Congress has advanced 2 bipartisan plans and negotiated them with the president directly, and then he backed away. And we know that Chuck Schumer said it's like negotiating with Jell-O. So now the White House has advanced a plan that is strident with respect not just to funding border security and a wall, but also to really expediting the deportation of those that are here. And so this aggressive enforcement we've seen in our own communities, and that is something that they want. The far right is dictating the terms of this agreement, and they are using dreamers as leverage. So we will see if this plan moves forward, dreamers ripped apart from their families. And one of the stories I think has not gotten airtime is here, the story of Sylvia Ocampo, who is a San Diegan who was separated and deported from her disabled child, a child that I held on my lap, and her older son, who she was separated from, who's in high school. This is what's going to happen in community after community if the plan that Trump is advancing right now moves forward. This isn't just about the Dreamers. This isn't just about a path toward citizenship. This is about him listening to the right-wing Stephen Millers of his party and advancing an immigration platform that is extremist.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say. I just would say that the government was shut down because of Schumer, your friend there, choosing illegal immigrants over the American military. So
those Dreamers are the ones that you're talking about, Melanie, protecting here.
And
now you're calling them illegal immigrants.
They are illegal immigrants. That's just a legal term. They're illegal immigrants. And I'm
well,
all
are
for
you
this
defending
path.
them or are you against them?
I'm for the path of citizenship, and I think that's what the president has always said, is let's make a path for citizenship for these people. They've not come here on their own merit illegally. It was their parents that brought them here, and so we can't throw stones at them. We need to find a place for them.
So deport their parents, but keep the children.
That is not, I'm not saying that, and I don't think that's in the plan.
Well, that actually is in the plan. That's in the Stephen Miller special.
Well, Stephen Miller isn't going to decide at the end of the day what the plan is. He's going to contribute.
He put forward the plan,
and I
which
want
is on
people
the
to
table.
contribute. I mean, that's what we all need to do, is contribute to the solution to this problem.
Okay, this could go on forever. Let's get to your final thoughts now. Laura, you're going to go first. We're going to put 30 seconds on the clock. Go.
Well, I think we saw a really beautiful defense of immigration in this country by Republican Senator Lindsey Graham in the Oval Office to hear tell when he was negotiating the deal, he wanted to make sure that immigrants that are the fabric of our nation were protected. And this means a path to citizenship, but it also means not ripping apart families with so-called enforcement. People that are not security threats, people that are not criminals, sitting here living, working, and breathing among us. And I hope that we can go back to the bipartisan table and advance one of the things that senators like Lindsey Graham and Dick Durbin advanced. So that's so important. And we're not seeing that, and it's at the hands of Trump.
Laura, thank you. Okay, Melanie, 30 seconds.
I want to focus on the economy because I think that proof is in the pudding. When we're judging a president's performance, we look at the things that are happening. I saw the meeting at Davos take place yesterday, where we were looking at Disney, 1,000 workers, 125,000 workers, $1,000 bonus. 1.25 billion from JP Morgan, unemployment at an 18-year low for African American, 17-year low for women, Hispanic, lowest ever in the country, in the nation's history. A Harvard poll says that 80% of Americans support a merit-based system of immigration. 72% of Hillary voters support that. So we got some things that are positive going on, and I want to end it on a positive note and say, go Trump.
Melanie, thank you. She got an extra 12 seconds or so.
Oh, sorry.
We'll balance it out
Sorry.
next time. Melanie, thank you. Have a great weekend. Laura, thank you as well.
Thanks, Raul.
All right.